So which year was this when you started your restaurant?
2009.
2009.
2013 I pulled the plug.
4 years.
4 years.
क्या करता था ये restaurant?
So the brand was called Pocketful. Achha, I'm a product guy. Okay? So
Okay.
the product was really tasty. The brand was called Pocketful. The restaurant looked like a KFC or a McDonald's. But aap jaake, you could go to the counter and ask for a butter chicken pocket with masala fries. So think of a pita pocket with butter chicken. But it took me almost a year to develop that pocket. It was a bread which tasted like naan. तो नान की पॉकेट में बटर चिकन, शाही पनीर, कढ़ाई पनीर, जोशीला आलू, सर्व्ड विद मसाला फ्राइज एंड अ स्पाइसी लेमनेड और मसाला कोला. इट वाज अ इंडियन फास्ट फूड रेस्टोरेंट. सो व्हेन यू टॉक टू मी यू रियलाइज वन थिंग, आई एम अ रियली ridiculously proud Indian. I want to do things which India is proud of. तो मेरे को उस टाइम पे उस बच्चे को, डफर बच्चे को लगा कि why can't India make a McDonald's? So it was embarrassingly enough my will to make a McDonald's that made me start a restaurant, and I failed miserably.
But this sounds tasty.
It was so tasty. It was so tasty. But I did everything wrong from day one. मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, मेरे को मुंह में पानी आ रहा है उसके बारे में सोच के. I did not understand restaurants at all.
Okay.
So the first restaurant was a 150-seater in Lajpat Nagar.
Okay.
And it was a first floor and a second floor. Ground floor लिया ही नहीं. इतनी समझ ही नहीं थी कि ground floor के बिना restaurant चल ही नहीं सकता, वो भी first outlet.
Oh.
That started draining the company on day one. Then I opened then I got desperate कि यार I need to open more restaurants. Did not get location because when I would go to a select city walk, they would say, how well is your first restaurant doing? I would say not that well. So I started getting inferior locations, but out of desperation I started opening second, third, because in my head I was thinking कि 7, 8, 9, 10 restaurants, because the product is appreciated so much, it's just people are not coming to eat it, कि 10 restaurant में एकदम से click कर जाएगा when word of mouth spreads.
Oh,
but
okay.
Before that my money finished, I gave up, so very honestly.
Okay, so you're telling me that you got your product right.
Wonderful product. I mean, one day if you come to my R&D here also at Veeba, I'll make you try that. It was such a good product.
Wow.
It was, I mean, I can't tell you how good the product was.
So this also puts out a very important lesson for all the people who are trying to start a restaurant, because from the outside it feels like if you get your product right, you will get everything right. But that's not necessarily the case, right? You have to get your product right, and then what else do you have to get it right?
For a restaurant, in my humble opinion, and again, because I'm a failed restaurateur, don't take my word for it, I think, and this is pre-Zomato, Swiggy era, so location was everything at that time.
Okay.
I really screwed up on the locations, first of all, but location was everything. Second was, restaurant is not about creating a great product. Restaurant is about getting people to eat that great product. So getting them to the store, making them try for the first time is the critical thing, which I had no experience in. मेरे को लगता था दिल्ली टाइम्स, बॉम्बे टाइम्स में ऐड दे दो तो काम हो जाएगा. दैट वाज नॉट द आंसर.
और रील भी बना नहीं सकते थे आप.
रील होती नहीं थी,
it is so fascinating that there is a restaurant called Benne Dosa, which has just opened up. It's been 40 odd days since the restaurant opened up. I can't even call it a restaurant, but there's another place called Mia Kebabs, which is right adjacent to that restaurant. You should see the line over there. It is so packed that you will have to wait for 40 minutes just to have that dosa.
Whoa.
And what do? They just make great dosas. Simple. Dosa along with filter coffee. One is hot filter coffee, the other is cold filter coffee. That's it. And people wait in lines just to have that dosa. And that is because A, the product is great. B, a lot of people started to post Instagram reels on it, because of which everybody discovered that.
So in a 2009 world, there was no Instagram.
Yeah, that's what I've been wondering.
I think Orkut hota tha us time pe shayad.
So tell me something. You're saying that location is absolutely important. And before we move on to Veeba, I want to have certain takeaways from you.
Yeah.
Because since you are a failed restaurant owner, you may not know what to do right, but you also know how to avoid doing the wrong things.
Yeah.
The first thing that you mentioned is location, which in today's context is slightly different, because even if you have a slightly inferior location, if you go very big on social media, you may still be able to attract people.
Then the product becomes very important.
And that is where the second lesson comes in, wherein you said that it is not just important to build a great product, it is the art of getting people to try that product.
Yeah.
Eventually then expecting word of mouth, and then location may or may not matter that much.
Absolutely.
Okay? That's the second lesson that you got me. What else do I have to learn about not failing at a restaurant business?
I let systems be bigger than the restaurant itself, which added a layer of cost, which should not be boarded on a new company. So my submission to anyone starting to think of opening the next chain of India is that even if it's chaotic, even if it is maddening, 5-6 restaurants kholo, let them be successful, then systems can be put after sales. Don't let systems come before sales. So what I did, the mistake I made, I got a national operations head from Domino's Pizza at that time.
What are you saying?
So मेरे को लग रहा था कि अगर चेन बनानी है, and मेरे को knowledge नहीं है. Till today, by the way, I mean, I'm very heavy on team building. But मेरे को उस टाइम पे क्या लगा कि चेन बनानी है, who better than someone from Domino's to come and I put an overhead which was so big on day one. And you know, some people at a certain level cannot work hands-on, so they need a team along with them. I did the same thing in 2-3 verticals, not only in operations. I had a sales, market, like, so sometimes our want to build an organization or our want or our big dreams come in the way of building it actually. धंधा मतलब धंधा आ जाए, revenue आ जाए, फिर ये सारी चीजें बाद में हो सकती हैं.
Sales first, system later.
System later. I think that for me was my biggest failing reason.
Wow.
Because my 6 restaurants might, they would have been profitable at 2 or 3 restaurants, or I would have had enough capital left to open 10 restaurants, which would have given me a far larger sale and the whole company would have been profitable. So this is a very unpopular opinion I'm giving, but this is what happened with me. I'm only talking about my personal experience. This is what happened with me. You know, the thing is, we see KFC, McDonald's, and we see Starbucks. We do not realize that some founders, Ray Kroc had put in, though he was not the founder, he was the guy who made McDonald's what he is, but someone has put in the effort of running a system-less company to making it a cash-rich company where today they can afford to say in India, we'll have systems from day one, even if you're loss-making, because the corporate is generating money. So sometimes these things have to be, it's okay to be chaotic in the beginning.
That is so interesting because I remember the Ray Kroc story and I read somewhere that he used to monitor everything at the restaurant, starting from the patty to even sweeping the dust from outside of the restaurant.
Absolutely.
And he also used to peculiarly observe how many people used to come in, what did they say. He used to talk to every single customer to understand the nuances of the business at that point.
Right.
And then he scaled. In fact, I was also speaking to the founder of Jumbo King last month, and Dheeraj told me something very interesting. He said, first you should have proof of concept, then you need to have proof of scale, and then you should scale.
Then you should scale.
But what most people...
So well put, right? So well put.
Yeah.
He's
but what most
absolutely
people do is they have proof of concept and then they go for scale, but there is no proof of scale.
Yeah.
Proof of concept के बाद आप product बनाओगे.
And वहाँ पे ना कई बार, very honestly, investors are to be blamed also.
Okay.
Sometimes investors also invest prematurely. कि proof of concept आगे invest कर दिया कि scale सीधा यार 50 out नहीं होता. You know, you have to be patient.
That is so interesting. In fact, I think third wave is now facing a lot of trouble because they scaled very quickly. Maybe something like that.
I wouldn't know.
Great. So the 3 lessons that I learned from this is, number 1, when it comes to a restaurant business, you have to not just get your product right, but you also have to get people to taste it. So it is important to have some sort of an attractive force. Today it could be social media, back then it could have been location. Yeah. But you need that attractive force to be able to get people to try that product.
Absolutely.
B, today and back then also, location is primarily important. Today, there is a possibility that because of social media, location may not be that important, but location is absolutely important. So if given a choice between a ground floor at say 3 lakh rupees of rent and first floor at 1 lakh rupees in rent,
100% 3 lakhs at ground floor.
You should always go for 3 lakh rupees because in the race of cutting that 2 lakh cost, you are cutting your capex, which will eventually result into more losses. And the third thing that you told me, and this I think applies for every single business, which is sales first, systems later. Do not build systems expecting sales. Get sales and build a system then to expect more sales.
Yeah.
Hi guys, thank you so much for watching the Indian Business Podcast. If you find value in our work, please hit that subscribe button because for you it might be a 0 effort task, but for us, that subscriber count is an important instrument to get great guests to our podcast and to make this podcast better for you. So if you find value, please subscribe.